Hey, truth seekers, welcome back. Zach here. It's September 19th, 2017. At the end of August, I put out a video talking about the history of perfect patterns of natural disasters throughout the world. And today, September 19th, 2017, we have a new example to add to the collection I talked about then. Today, it's being reported there was a powerful earthquake in Mexico City. They're calling it a 7.1, and it comes on the 32-year anniversary of the Mexico City earthquake that killed thousands of people. Throughout history, we've seen flooding in regions on anniversary dates of devastating floods before. We've seen tornadoes in cities, unprecedented, on anniversary dates of where the same thing has happened before. Same with earthquakes, forest fires, and more. It happens again and again. Perfect patterns of storms and destruction, and the people of this world are told it's Mother Nature. I challenge that. I've been challenging that since 2013, and in the time I've been doing this, my points are being backed up. After putting out that video at the end of August, and I put that out for the time of Harvey and Irma, showing how those storms destroyed by the numbers. And in both cases, I predicted what the dates of destruction would be before they happened. I said why with Harvey, the date to watch out for was Sunday, August 27th. And with Irma, I said why it was September 6th for the smaller islands, which got wrecked that day, and September 10th for the United States, which is the date a lot of Florida went underwater. Also, September 4th, 2017, put out the video on the bright red blood moon over Washington State. When I put out the video, I didn't know that people all across the northern United States could also see the red moon, but that was confirmed through me putting out the video. When I put out the video on the September 4th blood red moon, which was caused by all the fires up here, there's fires all across the nation, and all of the chemical spray they put in the sky that day. When I talked about that blood red moon, I showed how in the Bible, the final verse that has to do with it is Revelation 6:12. I showed how throughout the Bible there's verses about solar eclipses, blood red moons, and earthquakes. And I said, look, we just got the eclipse on August 21st. We just got the blood red moon. How long do we have to wait for the earthquake? That was September 4th. September 7th, major earthquake in Mexico, southern Mexico. They said at 8.1 on the 93rd meridian. What did I point out in that video about the blood red moon? I said I was worried about 93 days later and the days leading up to that. 93 is a biblical number. It's also a number important to the occult. It represents Saturn, the keeper of time. And I showed how from the blood red moon of September 4th, a very curious date for a blood red moon, to 93 days later, December 6th, I showed how that span was interesting and why December 6th, written 6/12, is a suspicious date. Revelation 6:12. I watched as he opened the sixth seal. There was a great earthquake. The sun turned black like sackcloth made of goat hair. The whole moon turned blood red. This is the final place in the Bible where these things are mentioned together, but it's mentioned throughout. Revelation has gematria of 49. The blood red moon was on 4/9, September 4th. Plus a number of other things. Please go back and watch the video. But just 3 days after I talked about that, and I mentioned in that video how, we usually get big earthquakes reported, but it had been a while. We hadn't heard about any big earthquakes in a while. Then boom, there it was. 3 days later, September 7th, on the 93rd meridian, southern Mexico, 93. Just talked about these numbers. Saturn, keeper of time, important to these occult rituals. What I'm trying to tell you is the occult people are our New World Order leadership, and they got their hands on the technology. So look at this. They said it was an 8.1 in southern Mexico. Southern Mexico equals 81, so does ritual. Now look, today, September 19th, the 32-year anniversary, I just want to read some of the reporting. The earthquake struck on the anniversary of a 1985 temblor, which killed thousands of people and devastated large parts of Mexico City. A tragedy that President Enrique Peña Nieto commemorated earlier in the day. So the president of Mexico talked about this earlier today before the earthquake came today. Look at the word temblor for earthquake that they use. 85, just like the year this happened. All-seeing eye of God, 85, special number. Now look at this. Earthquake in gematria sums to 55. So does the word God. So does the word quake. So does the word military. Remember, Satan also has the gematria of 55. 55, special number. If you add 1 through 10 together, it equals 55. 5 plus 5 is 10. The 10th Fibonacci number is 55. And in gematria, Fibonacci equals 55. So does numerology. Special number. The powers that shouldn't be are playing God with technology over the masses. Notice also, God has gematria of 26, like quake, like HAARP, the military technology admitted to that can cause earthquakes. HAARP also has gematria of 44, like military, like earthquake. Perfect, isn't it? Also interesting, the word quake shares gematria of 19. Here we are on the 19th, the anniversary of a historic quake. Notice in 1985, it happened at 717. 17 is the 7th prime number. God has gematria of 17. So does the word El. Biblical name for God. 17 is the 7th prime. God created the world in 7 days. Rested on the 7th day. This is the anniversary of the Mexico City earthquake, which equals 109. Also like military. Lose the 0, you're back to 19 on the 19th. And the thing that Freemasonry likes that's 19 is order out of chaos. Chaos has this gematria of 19 and 26, also like quake. Order out of chaos. Destroy and rebuild. Bring in a natural disaster. Move out an unwanted segment of the population. Poor people can't afford to rebuild. The same things are done all over the world. They said that today's quake was in Puebla, the epicenter. Look at where Puebla is, on the 19th parallel. The 19th. You see? With regards to it being the 32-year anniversary, it makes me think of the northern neighbor of Mexico. America equals 32, 7/4/1776, our date of establishment, July 4th, 1776, date with 32 numerology. 32 life paths in Kabbalah. Today's date, it also has 45 numerology as well as 65. Holy Bible equals 45. Christianity 65. A lot of Christians and Catholics in Mexico no doubt felt the quake today. Also interesting, today's date has a life lesson number of 38. Earthquake has gematria of 163 as well, which is the 38th prime. Death, murder, killing, all equal 38. They said the town of Condisa fell it, as well as El Centro, with both have the gematria of 38. Should mention that Zeus has gematria of 17 and 71. Playing God, 7.1. So please go back and watch my videos. Google took down the channel that I put up in August where I talked about weather warfare patterns in history. But it's all backed up at VidMe. See the video I put out on the September 4th blood moon where I said, how long do we have to wait for the earthquakes? And I pointed out then, the powers that shouldn't be, they operate all over the world, so we'll see where they strike. After the 1985 quake, there was also a quake on April 30th, 1986. Let's just go back and look at what the distance in days was. I didn't do that already, but let's just see. So it was September 19th, 1985. Think about how old I was. I just turned 2. Just a little baby. And then it happened April 30th, 1986. Huh. True Seeker, I really didn't do that before, but I just knew, because that's the way these people work. 223 days later. You know, if you're new here, you might not know about 223, but let me tell you some things. Masonic, it's all Freemasonry. 223 is the 48th prime number. The 48th prime. Freemason, Gematria 48 in English and in Hebrew. You know. Illuminati also has that Gematria of 48. And notice the 120 as well, because if I'm not mistaken, April 30th is the 120th day of the year. You know? Your Illuminati. Yep. April 30th, 120th day. You see how perfect that goes together? Your Illuminati is Freemasonry, though. Freemasonry. That's what the Illuminati is. And I'm thinking about it. April 30th, 86. 4 plus 30 is 34. Plus 86 is 120. So not only was it the 120th day of the year, it was a date with 120 numerology. You know, 223 days later. This has been going on, True Seeker, and that makes an important point. HAARP didn't exist back then. At least it wasn't public knowledge. So it's not just HAARP that's responsible for these earthquakes. They've had other technology. What I lean towards, show you something about this earthquake right here. This earthquake that just happened on September 7th, they called it the Chiapas earthquake, 97, 9/7. It happened September 7th. Notice also the 74. For decades, there was a nuclear underground testing program. Nuclear has the gematria of 74, just like weapon, just like energy. And of course, there's nuclear energy stations. Earthquakes are caused by energy. You know, that's what everyone feels, the output of the energy. Whatever they were doing for all of those decades, I think all throughout the world, along fault lines or points in the earth where you can cause the impact, I think they've been planting, you know, bombs and just waiting for dates to set them off. And this is why we, the people of the world, need to wake up and fight back, okay? We need to end this new world order, end the madness, end the sick rituals, end the inconveniencing of people's lives and, you know, blaming it on Mother Nature. This is what's going on. We can put an end to it. It's the day we all rise up and say, you know what? I'm not somebody else's slave. I wasn't put on this earth to work for somebody else and pay taxes for somebody else. You know? That's what we weren't put here for. We believe we were put here for that because it's printed in Bibles. You know, in the Bible it says, be a good slave. You know, be obedient to your master. Pay your taxes. All you people that think the Bible's the Word of God, it's time to pull your head out of your behind. It was given to you by the authority to program your mind to tyranny, to following an agenda, to being ruled over. And this is how our rulers treat us, you know? So anyway, I'll link both these posts down below. 223 days later, I can't even believe it. I can, sadly, actually. I'm sure you can too, Truth Seeker. But look, I mean, the word's not getting out. How many more things do I got to predict? From natural disasters to rigged sports games to news stories to terror attacks. I wish I kept a chart of all the things I got right, you know? Since 2013, it'd be a really long list. You know, hundreds of things. Hundreds of things. Even told people what the royal baby's name was going to be before Charlotte was born. These people do everything by ritual. You learn how their rituals work. You see how through they operate. I'm tired of people saying coincidence. That word's going to get us all killed. You know, in 2013 when I was speaking out about this, people are saying coincidence. People are still saying coincidence even though the patterns persist. This is not Mother Nature. All right, Truth Seeker, until next time. Core, just want you to see in the reporting how they write the epicenter was about 93 miles southeast of Mexico City. Again, number of Saturn, keeper of time. and Mexico City equals 144, just like time. Until next time.